we should be. Let me lift this up. There we go.
We're a little early, so.
Yeah, we're a little bit early. Technically, we're not because we can do what we want. But anyway,
we don't have a set time.
We don't have a set time. Hello, everybody. This is Danny
and Wanda
from Deep South Homestead. We are waiting for our wonderful subscribers to jump in here and see if their notifications are going off. Our thing in there is running around like a Christmas tree.
Virginia found us.
Oh, Virginia did.
And Becky.
Yeah.
So we have a few people going to be popping in. We're a little bit early than normal, but the weather's moving in.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we'll be able to even chat, but
a lot of rain coming in.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of people talk about the storage and our freezer issues and things like that, our organization.
Yeah.
And a lot
We've been called some things.
Yeah, we'll get into all that.
We'll get into all that. That's okay.
We're used to being called things.
That's like water on a duck's back with me. But anyway, man, lots of people jumping in here all of a sudden.
What all have you been doing this morning?
Me this morning. What have I been doing this morning? I've been working on the addition on the barn. I've been moving hay into the fields for the cows. What all? Put some hay in the hog pen for them because the cold weather's fixing to start again. I put hay in there for Hank. I put hay in for the other pigs. So
he's just been moving hay.
I've been.
All these people are going, hey, 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 hey. So
I've been building concrete forms for the new addition on the barn, getting ready to pour concrete out there. So
video sometime in the next week or so.
Yeah.
So I've been inside for the most part and working on videos, trying to get a few things for next week going. What else have I done? I kept the fire going. I was outside filming you part of the time, so I got nothing done. If y'all want to know why I get nothing done half the time, if I'm filming him, it doesn't get anything else done. Patricia says, I'm glad I found a reason to wear those candy corn pants. Oh, I found a reason. You guys, where do you get the black material for your gardens again? I think she's talking about the row cover. The row cover.
We actually got it. We got several at local here. At our hardware store. One came off of was it Amazon?
I think so.
Yeah, one came off of Amazon.
It's just a black row cover.
Yeah, we got Living Traditions gave us the site.
Growers Supply?
Growers Solution.
Growers Solution, maybe.
Maybe Growers Solutions or grower, not Growers Supply. It would have been a Growers Solutions, I think.
And Andrea is asking. She said, I'd love to see another pantry tour of the basement and cellars. I've got that one coming up. I've got it filmed. I filmed it the other day. It's just that I'm trying to get them all worked together and put out. I'm trying to space them out so that I'm not working on videos all the time. Yeah, Grower Solutions, that is the name.
Yeah.
So there is a pantry and cellar sort of tour, but it's going to work into what do we do with this food? How do we use it?
Yeah.
And that's something we've been asked a lot, and we're going to start this year more than ever talking about how we use food. And so the first part of the series is going to be potatoes, and I'm going to talk about potatoes. So that's coming up one day next week.
Yeah.
Just expect the pantry and cellar and something to do with potatoes.
Yeah, because we're technically here at Deep South, we're only a matter of 4 to 5 weeks away from planting.
3 to 4. I want them into January.
Well, it's going to depend on the weather. Last year our spring was 3 weeks early according to my records, and when we planted, I was 100% accurate. Had we not planted 3 weeks earlier, we would have gotten nothing. I can't quite tell yet. Because literally, I'm going to be honest with you, we've had some mornings in the 20s here.
But it warms up.
But it warms right back up, and our pepper plants out, they still haven't died.
I've got a video coming up on the greenhouse, too. What's going on in the greenhouse.
What's going on in the greenhouse,
and with the pepper plants that are out in the corral. Because we're still green, guys. Really green. So let me show you what we've got. I don't know if you... Where is the camera?
The camera's way up there. Come on up, pick your hand up. This has nothing.
Okay.
Up here.
So I have leftover cornbread, black-eyed peas, and cabbage all mixed. I made a roast last night with potatoes and carrots from our canned food. And I'm sorry, guys, when I say canned, I mean jarred food. Who says jarred food?
Nobody. It's called canning. If you look in the ball book, it's called
That's
canning.
one of my pet peeves. I had somebody say,
That goes back to
it's
being
not in a can, it's in a jar. So
that's politically correct society we live in.
I know, but it's canned food in a jar.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That doesn't matter to me. Whatever. I mean, call it what you want. I have I'm dyslexic here with the camera because left is right and right is left. I just have the roast with rice and gravy. The roast is so awesome, guys.
Mhm.
This stuff literally melts in your mouth. Always age your meat. I promise you, it works. And I got a piece of her cornbread, and I got a piece of her wonderful sweet potato pudding or pie or whatever you want to call it. Dessert, anyhow.
Mhm.
And over to the side, I have a gift from Miss Amanda.
We'll show it in a little bit.
We'll show it in a little
I've
bit.
got one too.
And she has one.
And I have a piece of my, I don't know if they can even see it. Where's that camera?
There we go. Right there. Give it time to focus. There you go.
Egg pie.
Egg pie.
So, and it's gluten-free, and I didn't film it, so there's no recipe yet, but I'll make a new one and do it because I had several people asked about the recipes for it, so I'll try to do that. Something I was just fixing to say on what you just said, and I lost it.
Well,
I lost it. It just went.
Well, they say the mind is the first thing to go, so I forgot what the second thing is, but I mean,
who cares when the mind's gone?
Whatever. Yeah.
But I do know.
Okay.
Talking about the roast. Okay, I know the Instapot is the craze of everybody. Everybody loves it. I'm sorry, I really don't. This roast was done in the old-fashioned crock pot, and it was falling apart tender. When I do one in the Instapot, it's still firm. And now if you want sliced beef, that's perfect. But I like my roast falling apart. When you touch it, it just goes all to pieces.
It literally melts in your mouth.
And Danny and I were talking. We have the cast iron, the coated cast iron, enamel cast iron that we can put on our wood heater. And when the wood heater's going full force, it's like a mini crock pot or a off-grid crock pot, I guess you would call it. You can put that roast in there and leave it all day, and it's falling apart tender, just like this plug-in thing. So we have the off-grid crock pot, I guess you would call it. And so the Instapot is good if you're in a hurry and whatever, but I like mine slowly cooked, slowly done, and very tender.
Okay. Do you heat your greenhouse? We was asked by Richard.
We haven't had to yet.
We haven't had to yet. Normally it stays around the coldest that it's gotten. We've been in the 20s. It got down to 45 degrees one morning, which doesn't hurt anything in it. It's perfectly fine. But that's the coldest we've gotten so far. It was about 25, I think, one morning, and it got down to 45 degrees in it. When will you start your seeds in your greenhouse? Probably, I'm going to probably say the 1st of February. We'll probably start some seeds.
Yeah.
In the greenhouse.
And I'm going to be using the mini greenhouse for herbs and stuff. I'm going to be trying those. So that's going to be a mini greenhouse for the herbs and the big greenhouse for other things. But when you see our greenhouse right now, it is just pretty awesome. I mean, I'm just really amazed at what every year we've had the greenhouse. This is the 3rd year. So it's really doing really well. What state are we in? We are in Mississippi. We're
Southern Mississippi.
30 miles from the Gulf Coast. Are we considering the premier?
Well, they said
they are.
Jennifer said we are considering the premier fencing. Do you think it will keep rabbits out? They ate my fall garden up. If you get the premier fencing that is the real tiny squares and electrify it, it should keep the rabbits out.
Yeah. Just know if you guys haven't watched it, I've got a link in the cards. Hank got caught up in that premier fencing. He ran around the edge, and you can go back and watch the video. I'm not going to tell it all, but he ran around the edge of the garden, and I guess he couldn't see it. And when he finally, at the last minute, when he did, he went to jump and his head got caught in it. He flipped. It could have been bad. So the videos there, I didn't film it because I wasn't filming anything. I had
Right.
the camera, but it wasn't on. I just was worried about him, trying to calm him, get him out of it. Premier fencing can be dangerous, and I had not heard, but a lot of people are saying Justin Rhodes had animals get into it, and other people have had animals that die
Yeah.
when they get into it.
Well, normally they will. They'll get tangled all up in it.
If I hadn't been out there, he probably would have strangled himself. And Premier is good for what you want it for, but if you have animals running loose, if you've got free ranging animals, things like that, I don't know. I'm really second guessing. Ours will come down shortly. So, and we will use it only for a few things because Hank is a priority and we don't want him into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and somebody said if it had been on, but
if it had been on, it would have killed him.
It would have killed him because I couldn't have got to the barn and back and turned it off and got back before he strangled himself.
Yeah.
As it was a good thing it was off.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida Homesteader says a good pellet gun keeps the rabbits out. I agree with that because you can ask Wanda. We went over to our garden one time. Was it last year or a year before last? And 4 rabbits come out.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was fast enough with my gun. I got 2 of them, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I pulled. It was a pellet gun, actually.
And I think later you got a third one.
I got the third one later. Yeah. One of them escaped, and I never did get it. But I did kill 3 of them with a pellet gun.
Yeah. They were in the sugar cane and the.
Yep.
Potatoes.
They were in the potatoes and they were hiding in the sugarcane patch.
Yeah. Okay. So talking about our freezer thing, we had a lot of questions. One person said we were food hoarding. Do y'all think we're food hoarding? I mean, you go to the grocery store, you buy up a lot of food to have for the next 2 or 3 weeks, or some people go for a month. So are you considering yourself food hoarding? That's my question. But, okay, I'll leave that one alone. Just asked him. We just have to do ours. When our food comes in, we have to put it up in some way, shape, or form.
This is the bottom line. We don't have an external job on the outside. A public job, should I say?
Yeah.
External. We work harder than most people do, but we don't go to the grocery store and buy our food. So what we raise here on our homestead is our food. So we try to supply ourselves with 1 to 2 years of food. We try 2 years just in case we have a crop failure next year. We still have some of that food left over to carry us into the next year. So that's why you see as much food on our homestead as we do. And plus, in the event we have a LCE or something like that happen, then we have food to supply that will last us for a little while.
Yeah, and
because if you think you're gonna go buy a pack of seeds and plant it, and you're gonna have food fast enough to survive on and not starve to death.
Okay, say next week something happens.
Right.
Regardless of what it is, something happens.
Doesn't matter, man-made, natural, whatever.
Seeds galore, and you start planting next week. Okay, number one, a lot of you are in snow and ice. It ain't coming up. I don't care if you plant it in the house. And if it does come up, you're not going to get produce from it just because the seed come up, because it's wintertime.
Right.
So timing is going to have something to do with how you're going to grow food. If you're depending on growing your food last minute when something happens. Second of all, if it does come up and it does produce, it takes, like Danny said, months, at least 2 months to 3 months for most anything to produce, from time planted to harvested, right?
Right.
You're not going to have food. So what are you doing in between that time you planted till the time you harvest? And then you've got other people wanting it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of factors in waiting till the last minute to plant a garden.
People who make comments like that, and this person may have had a legitimate reason for making those comments, but and I'm not. It doesn't bother me that they make them. We left it up on our channel if you want to go look. Lots of times people make it out of just not ever having been through any type of disaster. I mean, for us, we've been literally over a month before without electricity here because And there are some people who choose to live without electricity, but in our zone, we don't choose to live without it. It's just out. And when that happens, the freezers are the first thing that gets eat. We wrap them in quilts and blankets and hook generators to them, and we eat out of them. We never use our canned stuff. So that's why we have as much in a freezer as we have.
And so then that brings us to a lot of people are saying, what are you going to do about all the food in the freezers? Well, one freezer has a lot of seeds. Nothing in that freezer is going to go bad.
Nope.
If it quit working tomorrow, we would just go in there, lay the seeds out, make sure they're all no moisture in them. And then once the freezer was room temperature, it could be put back.
Yeah.
It'd just be like a closed storage. So the freezer with the seeds isn't going to hurt. The freezer with the flour is the same way.
Yes.
Flour doesn't go bad that way. So again, I would make sure I take it out in case there's any moisture, like from the frost and stuff. Take it out, let all that be where it's dry, and we could still store our flour in there and keep something out of it. So that's 2 freezers that I don't even have to worry about, really. The freezer with the meat in it, we're gradually going to be canning meat out of that freezer. Plus, we're eating meat out of it. So it's going to go down.
We have sausage that's got to be made out of it. There's lots of stuff.
Yeah. So it's not like it's going to stay packed full of meat for a year or 2.
Right.
That meat will go away quickly because we eat meat every day. And the freezer that's in the house has, that's the one I put the onions and bell peppers.
Onions and bell peppers and what meat we eat on a weekly basis.
Yeah, just a little bit of meat.
Yeah.
So the onions and bell peppers, if that ruins, because that's what's in the majority, and the eggs are in this freezer in the house. If those 3 things ruin, I'm not out a lot because we have garlic and onions already growing. We have
peppers are still growing.
The peppers are still growing. The eggs are still producing. So if I lose those eggs, I really haven't lost anything because I still have chickens. I still have a production going on. I put them up in case they quit laying for a while.
Yeah.
And blueberries, that's the other thing in the meat freezer.
We have blueberries in there, yeah.
So if the blueberries go away, we have blueberries actually trying to put on leaves.
We have blueberries right now blooming and putting leaves on. Hoot Owl Holler says, Mr. Danny, did you eat the 3 rabbits you killed in the garden? No, because it was in the middle of the heat of the summer. And rabbits down here carry a particular worm in them that we do not eat rabbits until after a good freeze has happened, especially the wild ones. So we did not eat them.
Yeah, and onions and peppers can be dehydrated. Yes.
Country Homestead Preacher, I'm assuming this is Miss Jennifer, said, how many meat chickens do you purchase and how long do you think it will last for? We usually do 24, 25.
We had 25, but we lost 1.
We lost 1. 25 of them produced, what did we say, 300 something pounds of meat?
6 times, no. Wasn't that much, was it? If you averaged them 6 pounds a piece, times 24.
Okay, that's right. I was thinking about hiding them too, because I think we figured them all together.
Up together, I believe.
I think we added it all together. We had 24 chickens that weighed an average. Some of them were more, some of them were a little bit less. So we averaged it at 6 pounds a piece. So you do the math. 6 times 24, and you got 150 pounds, 46 pounds of meat. For 8 weeks of work.
Pretty good. But
you're not going to get that return on nothing else.
But the thing is, 1 chicken for Danny and I, and I'm just talking for us because we do not eat a lot each meal.
Right.
So 1 chicken breast will feed us at least 2, if not 3 meals because of the way I use it. He uses the leg quarters. Sometimes he can get. Do you eat a whole leg quarter most of the time out of those?
I'll eat the thigh 1 meal and the leg the next.
Because they're so big.
Because they're so big,
yeah. So 2 meals out of 1 leg or leg quarter and at least 2 to 3 out of the breast. Then we did all the broth. If you count the broth and the meat that's in my broth and then you make soup, and sometimes soup lasts 2 to 3 to 4 meals, or we use it in stews or whatever, those meals last longer. 1 chicken can provide you quite a few meals.
Lawrence the Truth says, what do you think about using rabbit mander in the garden? We use it all the time. The one thing about it is you don't have to worry about it burning up nothing or anything. You can use it straight in the garden. Rabbit pellets are great to use. What are the pros and cons of Star of David okra versus bush okra? I like it for frying okra. Star of David is large in diameter, and it gets to be very tall. You don't have to worry about it, being right on the ground with you. I don't know if there's a lot more pros and cons about it versus bush okra. I mean, bush okra has its advantages. It grows a lot more pods per plant. The Star of David does not grow that many, but it's just larger in diameter and a lot better to fry.
Okay, somebody was asking about. Let me run it back because I won't remember exactly how they said it. Y'all give me just a second. In Canada, they sow greens in the winter. They're hard to do, but what do you think of sprouting the seeds? So are you talking about sprouting as in eating sprouts?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I mean,
a lot of people.
Some people do that. They call them microgreens. If you have the availability of a lot of seeds that you can do that with, it's perfectly fine. It takes a lot of seed to do that.
Now, if you have a little bitty pack of seeds from some company, it's hard to do that many microgreens. You need to be able to buy the seeds by the pound, I would think, and have trays where you can make that happen.
How many meat birds do you raise for 1 year of food? We just basically do the 25 for a year.
Because we have turkeys.
We have turkeys, we have pigs, we have goats, we have cows.
Plus we have rabbits.
And we don't want to have just one kind of meat the whole year. We want to be able to have a variety of different types of meat. And I know I'm missing things here, but if you have rice or potatoes, I can feed a family of 6 with children,
with
2 chicken breasts, and have leftovers. What?
You do what you have to.
You do what you have to. That's my point exactly. You can take a small amount of meat and add it to something and make a full meal out of it, and do it with small amounts of meat, not have to use all your meat.
If you don't make meat the main part of the meal.
Right.
A lot of people just use meat. I mean, they do a chicken and everybody eats chicken, and they have a little bit of mashed potatoes and gravy or a little bit of coleslaw because you're used to going to Popeyes and places like that, and chicken is the main part of the meal. At home, if you take one chicken, and say you have a family of 6, I had a family of 7. I took one chicken, and you each had a little bit. It wasn't like you had half a chicken apiece. That goes because when you go to Popeyes, you want that big breast and a big wing, and you eat all that and a biscuit and a little bit of other stuff. At home, you get a little bit of a slice of the breast, but you put more veggies and stuff on the plate and eat more veggies than meat.
Let's see here. I know I missed some. People talking about the different okras and stuff like that, and the rabbit manure. The rabbit manure is still really, really good.
Jen says she's sneaking in.
I see Jen say she's sneaking in. I see that. Hello, Jen.
But the Clemson spineless is good for.
We're gonna plant that this year.
If you get it small, we love it for boiling okra.
Yeah.
We really love boiling okra.
I don't care for it for frying okra, but I like it for boiling okra.
And if it gets big, you can slice it for frying.
Yeah.
So either way, but if you really want a good frying okra, which is not good at all for boiling.
No, Star of David is no good for boiling. Let me just go ahead and tell you that right up front.
I mean, I guess you could, but it's so big. So it's all in what you want. We usually do 2 types of okra. So, okay, what else do we have as far as...
Pine Brook Homestead said Happy New Year, so Happy New Year to you.
What else on storage? Mainly we can our veggies. So in our freezers, there's really no veggies in our freezers.
No, you might see 1 or 2 packs of boiling okra.
Or frying okra.
Or something like that.
Or corn.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we do not put vegetables in our freezer unless it's temporary until we have enough to can. Because I can all our peas, I can okra, potatoes, sweet potatoes, green beans, English peas, carrots, all that stuff gets canned. We can everything.
Well, the thing about a lot of this stuff is everything has its place,
Yeah.
and once you learn what works best for you, um, then that's what you have to do. Like here's a question here. Veronica says, "How do you store spinach?" Spinach it can be canned,
Hmm.
but it loses a lot of its nutritional value once it's canned. And
Any
as
of your
long as
any of your greens
any of
do.
your greens do that because they have to be canned at such a high temperature for such a long period of time. But any of your greens, as long as we have electricity and you have a freezer, they hold a lot more of their nutritional value if they're frozen.
Plus, if it's wintertime, having them outside in containers or in your
Yeah.
garden.
I mean, we have spinach growing right now.
Yeah. It's easy to have it fresh in the
Yeah.
wintertime. But if you want it to have it in the summer and stuff, it either has to be slightly cooked a little bit and put in the freezer or canned. Because we do quite a few greens that way. We've got kale, cabbage. No, I didn't do any cabbage. I don't like cabbage in the freezer and I don't like it canned.
No, we like cabbage fresh. Can you put green beans in the freezer until you have enough to can? Yes, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that when you take them out, dump them right straight into the pot that you're going to be using. Don't try to rinse them or anything
Don't
like
let them
that.
thaw out.
Don't let them thaw out. Just put them right straight over in the pot and just heat them up, kind of like blanch them for just a moment to kill the chill and the freeze out of them and put them in the jars.
Yeah, just to get them to the same temperature your others is at.
Yeah.
I do peas that way too.
Jan is exactly right. Okra will not sprout if the ground is too cold. If that ground is below 70 degrees, okra usually will not sprout.
Ours laid in the ground last year for a long time.
Yeah, they did.
A month or two.
Danny, do you know an okra that grows in northern Utah? No okra is going to grow anywhere that the ground gets colder than 70 degrees. If that ground does not reach at least 70, it is not going to come up. Now, you can start it in individual peat pots in the greenhouse, and as soon as the temperature gets to 70 degrees outside, you can actually plant it in the ground and it will grow, but it will not come up from seed. How do you feel about dehydrating spinach? Dehydrated spinach is probably pretty good. We don't do it simply because it turns into like what they call kale chips. It just crumbles all up real easy.
But the deal is, if you dehydrate any of your greens like that,
they have more nutritional value.
They have more nutritional value.
Yeah.
You can take and, like Danny said, they'll just crumble up. Put them in a bag, crumble them up, and if you do smoothies, you can add them to soups and stuff, and that gives you that extra little bit of energy in your soups. So yes, dehydrate is good if you have plenty of it. That is a good way to keep it.
The Living Garden says, Danny, I hear wood ash is great for the garden. Is wild ash any wood you burn, or is it something I need to buy?
Oh, that's what she's asking. Is it something we burn?
We do use our ashes in the garden, but we are very careful. We do not ever use wood ashes where we're going to be planting anything like potatoes or anything like that, because wood ashes raises the pH of the soil. So you don't want it anywhere you got a plant that needs to be a little bit acidic. And you cannot use the ashes. I don't recommend using the ashes from pine or anything like that. I would only use a hardwood ash.
All right, now Stephanie said she grew okra in Pennsylvania, but she bought them as plants and used black plastic as mulch and grew great and prolific. Yes, she protected her soil and she already bought them started, or you would have to start them yourself. Our winter greens seem to be doing very well.
Oh yeah, everything we got's doing fantastic.
Heidi Laurie came over yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah.
Yes.
And she and I went, I guess you would say, grocery shopping at Deep South.
Mm-hmm.
She got some garlic chives, some of the greens that we have going. What is that? Tender greens. What do you call mustard greens?
Mustard. Yeah, broadleaf mustard.
We even found some little potatoes in our garden. They were fingerling potatoes that once the rain, we've had so much rain, it washes up whatever's still there. And Danny didn't get all the fingerlings, so she probably ended up with 8 or 10 fingerling potatoes and 1 or 2 small sweet potatoes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she was going to use all this in her stir fry last night. So she was really having a blast just walking around Deep South foraging for stuff.
Noel from Maine says, what is the best temperature or conditions to store root vegetables and potatoes and onions and so on? Well, in my opinion, what I have discovered is anything below 50 degrees. Preferably around 45 is the best. But anything I believe you can get away with 50 degrees and with a low humidity, because the higher the humidity, you have to be really, really careful with stuff beginning to mold or sprout or something like that.
Denise is asking about collard greens. Now, collards we did put up in jars. It just takes, is that an hour and a half?
Yes.
I think it's an hour and a half to can them. You don't fill your jar slam full of the greens. I think you wilt them down some.
You do?
I would say no more than a little over half to 3/4 with the greens and the rest liquid, because the liquid is going to cook out of them. It's going to absorb. But an hour and a half to can collards. We have collards that are canned as well as all the other different types of greens. The one thing I didn't do was canned cabbage because it just goes to mush.
Mm-hmm. Mama Child Homestead said the flea beetles are after my turnips again. Well, I can tell you, they're horrible, and they're hard to get rid of.
What'd you say was messing with our stuff?
We have aphids trying to mess with some stuff in the greenhouse.
Yeah. Can you move blackberry plants right now?
Yes.
This is the time to do it, right?
This is the time to do it, yes.
Do you have a video on canning potatoes? If not, could you please make one? Yes, I have a whole playlist on canning just about anything. Type in canning potatoes, Deep South Homestead, or canning playlist or something like that, and look at it.
Do canned greens turn mushy? No, not if they're done right.
They're not.
They're soft.
They're really soft.
They're soft, but they're not mush if they're done right.
Unless it's cabbage.
Yeah.
Cabbage falls apart. Do you replant turnip tops?
How do you replant turnip tops? We do not replant turnip tops. It's just too easy to sprinkle seeds on the ground.
Yeah.
Tom says cabbage with carrots cans very well.
Mm-hmm. Do you not have to, if you did the carrots and the cabbage together, you don't have to go the hour and a half? That's what I'm wondering.
You got to go the length of whatever the longest one in there is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people ferment cabbage.
Yeah, you can ferment cabbage, but I'm not a big fan of fermenting anything.
Yeah.
Do you put praying mantis in your greenhouse to help with the beetles, etc.? I don't put anything in my greenhouse because normally we don't have a lot of trouble. But occasionally we'll have a few aphids that come up out of the soil in there, or they just come in somehow or other. I'm guessing it's through the soil or somehow or other, and we just take a soapy squirt bottle and with some Dawn dishwashing stuff in it, and we just squirt it. Okay. Shannon says it is 33 degrees here in New York. Can I move blackberries here if the ground is frozen? If the ground is frozen, you can't do anything. I mean, because you can't get them in the ground. But if you have them in pots, you can move them.
You just don't want to plant them till the freezes.
You don't want to plant them till the ground thaws.
Somebody said make your cabbage into sauerkraut. Now I do not like sauerkraut, so our cabbages in the garden will be done fresh or just cooked. You know that I like coleslaw. I make coleslaw plus I have the cabbage that I steam down. You can also dehydrate.
You can dehydrate cabbage. We like cabbage and sausage and stuff like that. I mean, you know.
But I'm not going to. We didn't plant a lot, so I'm not planning on putting a lot of cabbages up.
Homestead Heart says, when do you plant your peas? Now, depending, are you talking about English peas or are you talking about field peas? Now, English peas, we will plant them probably the end of January, or as soon as we can get the soil worked and get our fencing and all back up and our irrigation system and all. And we only plant little marvels, but now our field peas, we do not plant until the soil is at least 75 degrees. That way we don't worry about it because the ground is warm enough that the peas will actually come up because they're actually a summer pea. They're not a winter pea.
Yeah. Do you put anything on the blackberry plant in the spring?
We mulch them pretty heavy. We will put a small amount of chicken manure around them that's been composted because this year we have an ample supply of it. After the meat birds, every 2 days we got like a whole tractor bucket full
at least
of manure out of the building. So and plus I have to clean my cattle stalls out, I clean my goat stalls out.
Yeah.
And all that's being put into a giant compost pile, and we keep turning it every few days. So we will be using that.
Okay, Denise says she freezes cabbage leaves and they work well for soups and cabbage rolls. Now, cabbage rolls is something that I would like to try too. So I hadn't thought about freezing some of the leaves for that. That might be an awesome way to do it too.
Veronica says, how do you protect your spinach from the constant high and low temperature changes? Well, Veronica, we don't have a lot of temperature fluctuations here that's that bad.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's probably coming.
It's probably coming. It's like our temperature ranges between 45. Sometimes it'll get down to 30s.
We've only had like one night or two in the 20s.
We've had 4 nights in the 20s.
Not many.
Not many, but then we're back up in the 60s and the 70s and the 50s, and it doesn't seem to hurt the spinach at all.
Can you can peas in a pod like beans? I've never heard of it, but I don't know.
Can you can peas in pods like beans? I don't think you can. Don't hold me to that, but I've never heard of anybody doing it.
I just always shell them.
Yeah.
When are we going to butcher the hogs?
Whenever this old boy right here gets time.
The rain's got to go away a little bit.
It's got to get cold.
It's got to be a little cold. And
I got to have some of my projects caught up.
And we're almost there. We're getting ready. We were looking at them today.
Yeah, we got to get this addition on the barn completed where we can get the cows around there because we got goats fixing to be born here pretty soon. And the goats, I got to have that side of the barn for the goats. So it's fixing to be it's a monkey race around there right now. It's like a circus.
2, if anybody lives close and wants 5 turkeys, we have, well, 4 actually, because I think we're keeping one of the females.
I'm gonna keep a female. Yeah.
We've got 2 mamas.
Well, both of the mamas are setting.
Yeah, one of them has 2 babies already this morning, so we have 2 new babies. I don't have pictures because she's being finicky.
Yeah, she doesn't want you around her.
And the other one is setting, so we have 2 males, 2 female? No.
3 males.
3 males and 1 female. If anybody needs a turkey, if not, they've got to be processed within the next week.
Yeah, I'll be processing turkeys here pretty soon.
Somebody was saying something about they met up with Old Alabama Gardener and they would be growing comfrey this next year. Yes, we've been growing comfrey for a couple of years since Old Alabama Gardener brought us some, and we keep splitting ours, and so we have quite a few places that we have comfrey now, and our goal is to eventually have enough to be able to sell some. Somebody says, do you use a pigskin?
If we do, we make pork rinds out of it. Yeah, that's about it. We don't really keep it and use it for anything else. I mean, because it's a whole lot easier to skin a pig than it is to scald it.
What else? Somebody was saying something about snow peas. No, we don't plant snow peas.
No, we could, but snow peas are something that mainly gets eaten in salads and stuff like that. And we have plenty of other stuff here to eat in our salads. So we don't usually grow the snow peas. I mean, we got lettuce running out our ears usually.
How much do you want for the turkeys? I don't know.
Oh, how much do I want for the turkeys? Probably $35 a piece. And if you buy all of them, I might make a deal.
That was Steve.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know who said
Steve
it.
just got some. You still want more
Oh,
turkeys?
he just got 5 from us, or 4 or something like that.
They must be doing pretty good for him.
I'll make you a deal on Steve.
We just need them gone this
I just
week.
need them gone pretty quick.
Yeah.
Bring them boys. They can help catch them. They can wade in the turkey pen to get them too.
Yeah. Yeah, because he had to shut the door so the mama and the babies are protected from them.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have to deal with them.
Yeah. And the surprise thing that I have here from Miss Amanda from Freedom Acres, she made me a little pecan. What do you call it? A little pecan pie?
Mini pecan pie.
A mini pecan pie.
She sent us a box for Christmas because for Christmas we had given some things to her and Sunshine.
It is
and Sunshine
so good.
Said something to her a few days ago and says, "Mommy, we didn't send them anything." So it was Sunshine's idea to fix us stuff that we like. So Danny got pecan. What is it called?
Miniature pecan
pies.
Yeah.
And she sent me candy. This is Sunshine's creation. She did the sprinkles. And she did 2 or 3 different kinds of candies. The insides are different in each one. Some of them have dark chocolate. Some of them have white chocolate because she knows that's something that I like.
Lorella Not a Farm. As I say, Lorella Not a Farm Girl. A homestead adventure. I'll get it all out here in a minute. It says, what's your favorite variety of shelling peas? Little Marble.
No, shelling peas. Wouldn't that be your...
Well, they all shell.
That's the English peas, but if you're talking
about field peas, then it's the Red Rippers, Pink Eyed Purple Hulls, and Mississippi Purple Hulls.
And Black Eyed Peas shell
Black Eyed
just
Peas.
as easily.
Yeah, we have a pea sheller, so any of them shell good for us.
Yeah. And if I have to hand shell, the Red Rippers and the Pink Eyed Purple Hulls shell the easiest if you've got a hand shell. Yes, Patrice said she'd love to buy a turkey from us. She lived closer. We've had a lot of people wish they lived closer. So Caitlin is asking, is comfrey an annual, and what zone is what is the zoning on it or something?
I'm pretty sure comfrey can be grown just about anywhere. There's 2 types of comfrey. One grows from seed. One grows from the root. We have block 4, which grows from the root. It does not make a seed head. The ones that grows from a seed head, if you're not careful, can become a noxious weed. It can get out of control. So that's why we do not use the seed variety. The seed is what, block 15?
If you hadn't said it now, I done forgot.
Block 4 is what we have.
Oh, block 4 is what we have. Yeah, I don't remember which one makes seed. I think it's 15 or something like that. We don't have the seed kind.
Danny, explain the difference in the peas, please. Some folks don't know the difference. Thank you. Jen, yes, there's a difference in peas. You have people up north, when they think about peas, they think about English peas, green peas.
And he's not picking on northern people.
No, I'm not picking on y'all. Snow peas, things like that.
They're all green.
When you say peas in my area, you're not talking about the green peas. You're talking about what's called
field peas or cow peas.
Field peas or cow peas. And there's lots of different varieties of cow peas. There's probably 50 different varieties of cow peas.
Or
more. And so you have a southern field pea, and you got the northern green pea.
Okay, Dixie Living saying it's blocking 4 versus blocking 14.
Oh, 14. Yes, it is 14. I said 15, it's 14. Yeah.
All right, what growing zone are we in?
We're zone 8 most of the time. Some years it changes to 9.
Do we grow peanuts? If so, what kind?
Yes, we grow peanuts. We do the jungle peanuts because they don't carry the fungus that causes cancer. And we also grow the Virginia Fancies. which is a fantastic little peanut.
We haven't grown any in,
It's
this will
been
be
about,
the third year.
yeah, 3 years.
The year we grew them, maybe 3 years ago, we planted so many and we harvested so many that we canned them in jars. I boiled them in the jar. And so we still have quite a few peanuts. So I'm not sure, are you planting very many this year or any? Are you going to
I'll
wait till
probably
next
plant
year?
some jungle peanuts this year just to keep them going.
Yeah. So we'll probably wait one more year before planting them because we had so many that one year.
Pia says, this doctor says beans are killers. I don't know why. Beans are a great source of protein in the wintertime.
Steve, just let us know, what is today? Today's Thursday.
Today's Thursday. Any day. Any day.
Anytime this weekend, if you can get them, and we have 4. You said 3 males and 1 female.
Yes.
Yeah, 4. Okay.
And the female got bred today, so I know she's bred.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure she's laying age. She's ready to lay. Do you have suggestions on good seed companies? My nose is giving me fits today.
Well, we don't buy a lot of seeds because we have our own, and we usually sell our seeds. But
what little bit we got?
I mean, I guess Baker's is okay. I mean,
yeah,
but Baker's uses. They use individuals all over the country to actually grow their seeds. So I mean, you're trusting an individual, and I know they test their seeds because I have checked.
Mm-hmm.
But with Baker's, I use Pine Tree. I order some of mine from Pine Tree.
You did last year, yeah.
I order some from Vermont Seed Company. If I order
Totally Tomatoes.
Totally Tomatoes, you have to be careful. You have to be careful with Totally Tomatoes, but they do have some varieties that are okay. Mm-hmm. Southern Exposure. What's that one in California that we found that was
I can't remember, but Gurney's was one. What name? Gurney's?
No.
No, the one you're talking about isn't, but I don't remember the name.
I forgot the one out in California. They're a non-profit thing. And I know Luke with MI Gardener sells seeds, but I know Luke probably doesn't produce all his seeds. There's no way the boy can produce that many. He's probably getting them from a company or something.
What breed is the hen?
What breed is the hen? She is.
Is she the?
She's not the Royal Palm.
Blue Slate.
No, she's a Royal Palm. She's not a Blue Slate. She's a Royal Palm.
That's what I was gonna say. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody ordered rattlesnake beans from Pine Tree, and they perform great. That's Adrian. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we were sent our rattlesnake beans. So the person that sent them had been growing them and harvesting their own seeds for many years. So ours came from that. So True Seeds, and somebody was saying, I miss them, but I know So True Seeds.
Yeah.
Something about.
I'm trying to. I can't think. Territorial Seed is a good one. Yeah.
What about Johnny Seed?
I've never ordered from Johnny. I mean, we get their books, but I've never ordered from them.
We get everybody's books. We have all kinds of books. We're probably one of the few people that order seed. Most people just go crazy over the seed catalogs, and they are ordering seeds like crazy. Danny and I the only time we go to a seed catalog is if it's something that we absolutely don't have or don't have enough of.
Yeah.
So.
Or if we have some sort of crop failure and we lose all of our seed.
Yeah. That he doesn't save something.
Yeah.
How many acres do you own?
10.
Do you farm or organic?
Do you farm organic? We do everything. We use no chemicals. Let me say that. We use no sprays, no chemicals of any kind on our homestead. The only thing that we might do is we might use some triple 13 or some ammonium sulfate on large crops that we can't get enough animal fertilizer in the fields to take care of.
Because we do plant a large amount of potatoes, sweet potatoes, our beans and peas, those type things, we plant, what, half an acre of each? Close sometimes, quarter of an acre anyway,
Probably a half an acre of potatoes,
and sweet potatoes.
and a half acre of sweet potatoes.
There's no way we have enough manure to cover that.
Right.
I mean, be real, you know, if we had 10 plants, yes, but when you do as much as we do, you cannot do that much manure on that field. There's just no way.
Shade Tree 4x4 says your favorite onion, the yellow granix. That has got to be, other than a Vidalia, which a yellow granix technically is a Vidalia. It's just that the Vidalia is grown in Vidalia, Mississippi. Or is it Vidalia, Georgia? No, Vidalia, Georgia. Georgia. I'm thinking about Vardaman sweet potatoes. It's grown in Vardaman, Mississippi.
So y'all are having House Tool Hoe, thinking of buying one. Had a Farmall Super A, but to swap plow feet and small plots could be more trouble than it's worth, like the simplicity of the wheel hoe. We actually have two, right?
Yeah, we have a high arch, and then we have the regular wheel hoe.
Which one do you prefer? Is there?
Well, both of them have their uses. The high arch is used once the plants get too tall for the other one to go over. Then I use the other one to go between my rows. I actually have a new set of cultivators that I got from Hall's Tool Company this year. It's the new wide sweeps. They're like 6 inches wide, I think. Some of them's 4 and some of them are 6 inches wide to help clean the middles of the rows up.
Okay, so how do you cook field peas? All you do with field peas is put water in the pot, cover the peas.
Put usually a piece of pork or bacon, something like that.
Salt pork, anything like that. Or if you don't want to use that, you can use like a touch of butter, or you can just simply salt them and put onions in them. Or I put jalapenos in mine. I like jalapenos in my field peas. So you can cook them that way. You just cook them till they're tender. I mean, it's basically very simple.
What seeds should we order in stock that are hard to produce ourselves?
Carrots.
That would be number one.
Number one.
Number one would be carrots. Onions, carrots. What else? Any of your greens would do okay. Lettuce.
Yeah, lettuce is hard to reproduce your own seeds.
Yeah.
But carrots is a 2-year process, and we've tried, and it is extremely hard to manage to keep carrots for 2 years and then harvest seed. So stock up on carrot seeds if you like carrots.
What kind of good bag dirt is good to use for big pots? Any of your potting soils. I mean, you can use Black Cow. You can use Miracle Grow. I mean, there's lots of them out there.
Somebody asked.
The Little Marvels or bush beans. No.
Little Marvels grow like
the Little Marvels will grow like 6 feet high, so they're more of a pole. Even though they're classified as a bush,
they grow like
5 feet tall. So you got to have them on a pretty good fence.
What kind of carrots? It's according to what kind you like.
We do the Danvers half longs, just simply because our soil is pretty soft, but if you tend to get those that are the regular Danvers or the very long ones, you just tend to have a lot of crooked roots and stuff like that. So we do the Danvers half long.
What about beets? Is that another one? It's hard to get beet seeds?
Yes, it's hard to save beet seeds. Yeah. Every beet seed has about 4 to 5 seeds in every seed itself. So when you plant one, you're gonna have to go back and thin them out. And usually the Detroit Reds are pretty good. Let's see, there are rumors that Territorial was selling Monsanto seed a while ago. Johnny Seed is owned by one of Monsanto's subsidiaries.
So that should answer your question.
I had a feeling about Johnny Seed. That's the reason I didn't say anything. But I did hear a rumor about Territorial Seed. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if it was actually true or not. But
it's out there.
It's out there.
Make your decisions based on that and check it out.
That's one of the reasons why we save all of our own seed year to year, and I've been saving my seed for 20-something years.
How often do we go to the grocery store? Well, We go to Walmart at least once a week, but we do not buy groceries.
No, we don't go to buy groceries. We have to mail
Um,
so much Etsy stuff and things like that. We go for
Ours
envelopes,
is
tape, boxes.
ours is stuff that's not necessarily our stuff half the
Yeah.
time. But to buy groceries,
Once a month.
we go about once a
Well, we
month.
don't buy groceries. We buy commodities.
Flour, because he likes almond flour, or needs almond flour.
Yeah.
So I buy the almond flour, baking soda, salt. We try to keep a supply of sugar,
Pepper.
and if I need a little bit of sugar or pepper, almond milk, because we don't produce our own milk yet. We're
Yeah.
in the process next year.
We're hoping to get there. Yeah.
Cheese and butter, but next year we're hoping to eliminate the milk, the cheese, the butter, and that stuff, yogurt,
Yep.
all that
I got
stuff.
the ghost stand finished. Well, it's almost finished. It's not quite there. I mean, I got to get a matting system to go on it. The neighbor next door gave me a mat, so we're going to see how that works on it. And I've already painted it with a black coating stuff to help waterproof it. Now I'm going to try to see if I can get a mat fastened down on it.
Do we have Etsy store? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
DeepSouthHomestead.etsy.com.
One of them could put it up there, Jen, or one of the other moderators could throw it up. That would be great.
Yeah, but when we go to the grocery store, we do not go in buying any vegetables. We do not buy meat.
Nope.
We don't buy boxes of stuff and cans of stuff when we're in there. So that pretty much eliminates 90%.
We cook from scratch everything.
Yeah. Now I will buy some kind of candy that I like occasionally, or a bag of chips or something like that. But usually the chips are either tortilla chips or corn chips.
Yeah. And we even looked in to see if it says partially GMO or whatever.
We try to check.
We even check that out if we can.
We don't buy like cereals and stuff. We eat grits. We have our own eggs, so we eat eggs every day.
We grind our own grits.
We have grits. We do buy some oatmeal occasionally, but I keep oatmeal stocked up. So like once a year I buy oatmeal and I vacuum seal it in jars, and we have oatmeal all year long. Do you both store flour and sugar? Yes.
Yes.
Flour, lots of our flours is in the freezer because of the humidity here and the bugs, and the sugar pretty much is okay as long as it's dry, and I have sugar stored up. So, and plus we have our own cane syrup, so we can use cane syrup in place of sugar. It's just that we keep it as a storage.
Can you grow almond trees in your area? Yes. I don't have any because they're so expensive for me to own one and to get it shipped here. We have chestnut trees, but we don't have any almond trees.
Do you make your own pasta? No, we do not eat very much pasta.
We don't eat pasta here, almost period. We don't eat it.
Probably maybe once every couple of months do we even eat pasta of any sort, and it's usually corn pasta. We have some that someone sent us, and I vacuum sealed all that, and so we do have some corn pasta.
Deb Long Mathena, if I can see that right so little, says MSGs is in everything. MSGs, the monosodium glutamate, actually has about 11 different other names that it goes by. So yes, that's exactly right. It's in everything. You may not see where if you call the company and ask them, does their product have monosodium glutamate in it? They may say no. But you look at it, it'll say it has glutamatic acid or one of the other 11 names, and they're trained to say no if you say monosodium glutamate.
They don't answer to all the others unless you specifically asked. Have you ever tried dry canning flour? Yes, that's the way I have several jars.
We have several jars of it dry canned. Yes. Hello, Patty.
Quaker products are GMO with Roundup. Yes, you have to kind of
watch because I actually called Quaker on that, and they would not give me a definite answer. Now they do have the organic Quaker.
Yes, they did tell us they did have that, but then again...
They sent me coupons for it when I called them because they told me, I told them, I said, is your products got Roundup in it or are they genetically modified? They said, sir, we don't, our products are raised certain ways and all this. And I said, but you're still not answering the question. I'm looking for an organic source of this. And finally, they just sent me the coupons to buy it organically.
Do we harvest the chestnuts? Our trees are only 2 years. Well, we bought them 2 years
We
ago.
bought them 2 years ago, so they had a few chestnuts on them, but not many.
Yeah, only 3 or 4. So they haven't gotten big enough. They're about what, 5, 6 foot tall, maybe.
No, they're about 6 foot. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not very old.
Yeah.
So eventually we will. We had someone send us some chestnut flour, and when Amanda from Freedom Acres gets here, she and I are going to make some more recipes using the chestnut flour. I've made a couple of things with it, and we're going to see if we can do a recipe with some chestnut flour.
Do you store your sugar in mason jars? If so, how do you prevent it from caking up? No, we leave ours in the original bag that it come in. And
I have a metal garbage can.
Yeah.
I just we buy it in 25-pound bags. I sit those down in the metal garbage can. I have
you put a
black plastic
garbage bag in there first.
Put those down in there and just keep the lid on it. And I've never had any problem with caking with sugar, but our house stays pretty dry, I guess you would say.
Bill Brady says, Danny, did they ever get your tractor fixed? That's kind of a funny story because they're coming this afternoon to pick it up once again and take it back because they have not figured out yet what's wrong with it. They keep telling me, oh, we fixed this and it should work. And I get it back home and then it does it again. So
everything they're fixing is not fixing the problem. They're just swapping pieces out, basically.
Yeah. Do you use steel oats from Bob's Red Mill? We do if we can afford them, but we usually can't afford them, so we don't worry about it. Do you not eat pasta because of the flour? My family enjoys homemade pasta.
That's part of it, yeah.
Well, pasta is a carbohydrate, and we don't load up on carbohydrates. We usually do more proteins. We try to balance our proteins and our carbohydrates out.
About the only time we do pastas is if I do spaghetti or lasagna or something like that.
We don't eat a lot of that. I gotta go backwards here. 2Man and the B-Man says, I have heard you mention permaculture. Do you farm using the permaculture rules or techniques?
No.
I don't go by any specific rules.
Not farming.
What I do is we interplant our crops based on heights and what grows shade, partial shade, full shades, and stuff like that. That's on our property. That's what we do.
Let me show them right quick before we run out of time.
Okay, because I got the chat on hold so I can read.
Okay. Tamara Butterworth sent me this. I'm just saying because she's in Florida.
Yep.
Amy from Japan.
Oh, this is come from way across the water.
Okay, I'm not good at this, but this came from Amy in Japan. She says she watches us regularly. She just can't comment for whatever reason. Hers doesn't let her comment, but she does watch us there in Japan. And she and I have talked on email quite often because she can't comment on the chats. But she's usually in the chat room.
Okay, guys, I've got the chat frozen on my end, so if I don't see something, don't worry about it.
Missouri. Let me see which Missouri. Oh, Eyes of My Heart. Mandy's a very sweet lady that was at our gathering last year. She moved. She's off grid. She doesn't get to watch videos all the time because they have no electricity, but she's working on it. So, Eyes of Our Heart. She was just letting us know that she's okay.
Yep.
And
Linda Moss.
The last one. These came this week after Christmas, just saying.
Yeah.
This is from North Carolina from Ricky and Cindy. Where am I at? Here we go. Ricky and Cindy from North Carolina.
Thank you, guys.
So I just wanted people to know we didn't forget, but we did get some late.
Okay, let me get back to the questions here, because would you grow your own grains if you found yourself in an SHTF scenario? Probably not, because we don't have enough land to grow grains here. The only grain we would probably produce would be corn, and we would make our own corn flour and our own cornmeal from that. Connie says, do you can dry beans? Yes, we do can dry beans, lots of them. Ever done flour from acorns? I have in the past, but if you want to see a good video on that, go see Amanda from Freedom Acres, because she has a video on doing it. It's a very long process.
We could. We have plenty of
We have plenty of acorns. If we had to, yes, we would.
Yes, we would.
Have you ever tried
dry
canning?
Yes.
Oh, that's what you do with your beans, your dry beans.
Well, flour and
The
stuff like
flour,
that is oven
well, is oven
canning.
canning.
We do oatmeal, grits, dehydrated foods.
Yeah.
All that goes in dry canning in jars.
Yeah. Are these Chinese chestnuts? Yes, because the actual chestnut tree in the United States, a blight has hit them and they will not grow. So they've had to go in and graft them, and they call them now Chinese chestnuts because they've got a disease resistant to the blight that has hit the chestnut trees. Would olive trees grow on your homestead? Well, yes, we have
one.
We have one olive tree, the Arbequina. We have it on our homestead now.
And it did produce a few olives. Last year they came on and the freeze knocked them back off. But the year before we had about 10 on it. So this year is going to be according to weather.
Honey Hollow Homestead said I found 2 chestnut trees on my property so far. I need to learn what to do with them. What type of chestnuts do you have? They're actually the Chinese chestnut. They're the type. Hit the chat where I can make it move now.
This?
But wait, you have to take it over and move it because it's probably done gone way down now. Okay, whoa, where did it go?
I am waiting on 3 something roses from Heirloom Roses. The rose hips are huge and loaded with vitamin C. We make jelly and syrup. Are you interested in one if I propagate it? Yes.
Yes,
I would love to have
great.
one.
Would you eat beef that is free of bad stuff?
Yes, we eat beef all the time.
We eat beef all the time that's free of bad stuff. We're trying to raise our own right now.
Yeah.
Danny, you talked about have a trade in case of something happens, and one of mine is that I could rebuild a starter and alternator or vehicles or tractors. That would be very awesome, especially in an EMP situation.
Actual mechanics is going to be.
Actually, the mechanic and the electronics and mechanics is going to be good. I went to school to be a mechanic, and so I understand a lot of that. And I do have a video coming up on Patreon, several videos actually, coming up on Patreon about EMPs, how they will affect our stuff, what you can expect to happen during an EMP, and all that kind of stuff. I'm having to go down the list. Danny, are your chestnuts Chinese? I've already answered that. Yes, I believe they are. Do you make sourdough bread? No.
We don't make any kind of bread, really, because Danny's gluten-free, and I've done gluten-free breads, but he's just gotten away from eating bread. If I want something, I'll buy a loaf of whole wheat bread or something from town and eat it for a day or two.
I got a roll here. How do you dry can flour? You put it in the oven, heat the jar. Get the jar good and hot, take it out, put your flour in the jar, wipe the ring off on the top of it with a dry rag, not a moist one, and put the lid on it, and the heat from the jar will actually seal it.
Well, you have to put the jar in, heat it, put the flour in, put it back in
the oven, heat it again.
It's a whole process.
It's a process. It's a long
I have
process.
a video up somewhere on it.
Steve says, Danny, blow the tractor up. I have seriously considered that.
That's what I was laughing about.
Goodness, can you get your money back and buy a better one? This is tractor number 4 from this company. I've already cut as many deals with them, I think, as I can. I probably will just sell it if it keeps going.
The tractor actually does everything.
The tractor is a great tractor. It does everything.
It's a minor.
It's an electrical issue, and we know it's electrical. We just got to figure out what it is.
Yes, we do have a dry canning video.
Yes.
And you can vacuum seal in bags. We have some of that done. We've probably done almost any kind of prepping type stuff that we can.
Thinking of others is the Dolphin Man.
Oh, hello, Dolphin
Hello,
Man.
Dolphin Man. I didn't realize. Okay.
When I'd have seen God's Joy, I'd have known it.
Yeah. Okay. Florida Homestead says I'm a mechanic by trade. Faraday cage is a must. I'll be talking about Faraday cages because there's a lot more to a Faraday cage than most people think. Do you make milk kefir? No, we do not.
We don't have our own milk yet.
How old a vehicle do you need for it to survive an EMP situation? I would say 85 or older. Even with an 85, there's going to be some issues, and I'll explain that in an EMP video about EMP. You actually have 3 phases to an EMP, and I'll explain that in the video. Let's see here.
What do we have growing right now in our garden?
What?
Greens.
Let's see.
We have mustard greens. We have garlic, onions, collards, cabbage,
broccoli,
kale,
two types of broccoli, kale,
and
garlic,
chard,
garlic, onions, whatever. We have all
peppers.
JoJo Girl says, love our Kubota tractor. Made it within 30 minutes of us. You can do flour in Mylar. Yes, you can.
Hey, Stephanie and Palmetto Paratrooper. That is a mouthful. I don't care what you say.
Yeah,
That's always been.
It's always a mouthful. Good to see you, Palmetto
And
Paratrooper. Haven't
Dixie
seen you in a
Living says
while.
we have an awesome video on dehydrating water. If
We
y'all want
do.
to,
If you want to know how to dehydrate water to make it through the coming apocalypse, then go over in our video series playlist and look for dehydrated water because I explain it to a T. I don't think I leave anything out in that.
Yeah. Dehydrating water's
Palmetto Paratrooper said computers have become a standard in most model cars by 1995. Yes, they have. And before then, you had ECMs and stuff like that can still go bad in an electromagnetic pulse. But we'll talk about that on the other video. Happy New Year from JoJo Girl and Riverine Farm. Got my first pressure canner and a whirly pop for Christmas. Yes. And a little greenhouse. All right.
Boy, she's racking up.
Tom Michael says, read the book Patriots. I have one here. Wanda has tried to read it, but she just can't get into it.
I could do 1 second after. I enjoyed 1 second after. If y'all hadn't read it, do 1 second after.
The Patriot book is actually an ongoing thing because he changes it every couple of years.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just cannot get into the Patriots. It's like a slow read. It doesn't just grab you and hang on like 1 second after does.
Right.
So don't sell the 77 Ford that I got hanging around. Nah.
No, do not sell your 70. Buy you an extra set of points and condenser. Put them in a Faraday cage, a Faraday box, and I'll explain that on the other video. But
are you going to post any EMP videos on All God's Children?
Oh, that's a good one there. What I've started doing, I get so many more views on Deep South Homestead and on Patreon that I've learned.
All God's Children just doesn't get
the views.
We don't get that many people going over there, and we would like to reach people.
And I'm trying to reach more people with the message, so I incorporated into Porch Time, incorporated into Deep South Homestead, and
any of the videos,
any of the videos that I can, and Patreon. You'll always see me mention certain parts of the Bible, whether it be Revelations, Ezekiel, Daniel, whatever, Jeremiah, whatever I'm talking about at that time. Matthew 24 is one of the good ones, but I will be mentioning those in them. What is the best way to store sugar and flour? Sugar we keep in a garbage bag in a metal garbage can in the house in a climate-controlled area so that it doesn't get hard and cakey. Flour, we oven can it is the best way we found to do that.
But
or you can freeze it.
Freezer, yeah.
Let's see here. Anything you convert to a point ignition system is a good start for EMP proof. Yes, I agree with that completely.
Okay, so did the salt keep the Kogon grass going?
99% of the Kogon grass is gone. Occasionally, I will find one little sprig pop up somewhere right there in that immediate area, and then when I do, I dump the salt right back on that again, and it seems like so far I've almost eradicated it.
Shannon says she got a pressure counter too. She found it at a thrift store. Yes.
Yes, just buy you some extra gaskets to go with them.
Yeah, the gaskets are cheap on Amazon.
They're
Find
cheap.
out what
get you several of them
you have and order 2 or 3 of them at least and have on hand. Georgia Girl said she did the whirly pop. It was amazing.
Amazing. Okay, do you think we are more likely to have a grid go down than an EMP?
Possibly.
Yes, and I explain why on Patreon because some things.
You haven't put that video up yet.
I haven't put it up yet. I'm making it right now.
He's working on.
There's actually 3 different videos I'm working on right now. But there's a reason why I say that. Some things I can't say on YouTube right now because of political correctness, let's say.
Yeah, and I had a lady email about what you meant when you said separating the men from the boys, and I said, well,
oh yeah,
that was just a gender thing.
It's a gender neutral thing. If I have to be careful about what I say. I mean,
because the other day I had a video. It's on Crazy Days. And when I was getting ready to put it up, as I was working on it, in the tags, because it was talking about black-eyed peas and why we eat black-eyed peas. And if you didn't see it, go over to Crazy Days. But in the tags, I put the Civil War because I was talking about the Civil War and what happened was why we were eating the black-eyed peas and stuff.
Yeah.
So in the tags, I put Civil War. Over to the side, for any of you content creators or YouTube channels, it popped up a warning, and it said you could be demonetized because you used these words and in your tags. And when I looked, it had Civil War.
Yeah.
So once I went and took Civil War out of the tags, the warning went away. So guys, pay attention to those warnings on the sides when you do something. It didn't demonetize me because I said it in the video, but those tags are very important, and whatever you put it in, it could throw it into, not necessarily talking about the war between the states, but the family, the civil war we have going on in our country now.
They try to tie it in with, the division in our country now.
So be very careful with your tags.
Okay, let's see here.
Do you have a root cellar?
Palmetto Paratrooper says, do you dehydrate too? Yes, we do dehydrate. Yokohama, Sourdough told Yokohama Rock, Danny doesn't care much for horses. It's not that I don't care for horses. If a horse has a job on a homestead, then I'm all for it. But if he's just out there just to eat grass and walk around and ride occasionally, he's a bucket with a hole in the bottom of it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. He'll
cost you more than he's worth. Do you have a root cellar? Yes, Shannon. We have a root cellar. We have videos about our root cellars and the building of a root cellar. Let's see here. Fuel for power transformers after. There's the rest of it's gone.
Where?
No old vehicles here. Need to get a horse. Yeah, a horse would be great, or a mule. Either one. I would probably prefer a mule if something happened, because I could use him for a lot more things. Do you use the silica packs? Yes, we do in dry canning.
Yes.
Let's see here. Oh, wrong way.
I don't know where you went.
Matthew said, I'm up at the top. Any suggestions to invasive rhizome grasses that have taken over even our raised beds? We are organic for market. Real change.
Challenge.
A real challenge. I mean, rhizome grasses are hard to deal with. That's one reason we use the salt on them. And salt, you can't still grow. I mean, salt is it's not a chemical that's going to hurt anything, but you also can't grow anything behind it.
The 72 Jeep Commando, would that have a computer?
Possibly 72, not. Probably not. It may have an ECM on it or something, but get you an extra one if it does. Put it in a Faraday cage so if something happens.
Yeah, Palmetto says a figure of speech. It just means we'll find out who is serious and who is playing games. People are so sensitive.
I agree with you 100%. I do. I agree with you 100% on that one. We live in this politically correct world.
The actual historical events are kind of, you have to watch because they don't want you saying anything. But on my channel, I had to talk about it because that's why we eat English peas and cabbage. I'm sorry.
Janie Dewberry says, do you know what happened to the Fouch family? Yes, but that's not for me to talk about.
They're still there. They're there, and they will put up a video on occasion, and they may come back at some point.
Kay said a sun solar storm could create an EMP. Is this more possible than a regular EMP? Both are just as probable. And there again, I go into all that on this other video, talking about solar flares. And yes, solar flares are possible. We've had two of them, one in 1850 something, and then one in 1921 that actually done a lot of damage here. Horses are a lot of work. If you're serious, people get a large pony instead, smarter and easier to keep.
Homestead Heart says they're considering turning their pool into a root cellar. What do you think? Could that be a doable thing?
If you get a way to put a ceiling over it and keep the water out, you got to have a drain, and you do have a drain. So
it's quite possible.
If you get a roof over it and get it covered up, I don't see any problem. Let's see here. You can't say chemtrails or Russians either. Heard it will make live videos buffer, so instead you have to say CT and Ruskies. There are more and more words getting flagged by YouTube. Yes. Yokohama Rock says mules are stout and stubborn, but they're sure-footed, though. Yes, that's one thing about them. You're searching for the homestead land. How important should close proximity to medical facilities and easy access to EMT services be as a location criteria? I wouldn't count on it a whole lot, Idaho so far, because of
solar.
Solar. I thought it said my eyes are way out there. I'm way away from the computer. I wouldn't count on being close to those facilities unless you have some kind of major medical issue, because if the grid goes down, they have backup generators that's only going to run for about a week. And after that, they're out if they don't have any fuel. We have a lot of crybabies in the United States. Where
Pretty
it
much.
went, I don't know
It's
where
right
that.
there.
Okay. Let's see
Do
here.
we have ham radios or similar? No, we
we
don't
have
have
walkie-talkies. We don't
ham.
have a ham radio. We have walkie-talkies.
Does Patreon accept Mastercard? I
Uh,
have no idea.
I'm pretty sure they do. I mean,
I would-
it goes through PayPal, so I'm pretty sure it
Well,
does.
it doesn't have to go through PayPal. It could go through your credit card, and Mastercard's a credit card, so I'm assuming.
I'm pretty
but
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it probably does.
Yokohama says it's
Icing.
icing right now.
Icing pretty good here. Got to say, for now, my internet is sketchy. Yeah, we was watching Oklahoma. All of Oklahoma, I looked at it. Well, matter of fact, right before I came on here, I told Wanda, I said, wow, most of the state of Oklahoma is covered up with ice and snow.
Yeah. Okay, so it's after 1.
Yeah, we got to get back busy again. And although it's raining, I'm surprised we've stayed in this long with the weather like it is. And I hope I got most of y'all's questions. If I didn't answer your question, please don't think bad about it. It's just that
they flip so fast, and
well, not only that, the political correctness that we have to go by now. Certain words are flagged, and I'm trying to be very careful about what I say, because I do not want our channel pulled for any reason, or any of our content pulled, because I want y'all to continually be able to see us and to be able to
join in
with us.
And
so.
I'm
almost like a politician now. I'm almost having to get to the point where I have to watch every word I say, you know?
In case it will be incriminating later.
Yeah.
But the deal is, we've got all this stuff going on, and we want to be able to bring it to you guys before we get off. No, I don't have the T-shirt on.
Oh.
Okay, for the gathering, March the 9th. You guys, if any of you want to come, please come on and join us March 9th here in Wiggins, Mississippi. It is free. The only thing is, if you want to buy anything from a booth or buy some food or something like that, that's what you'll pay for. If you want to participate in a raffle or a drawing or anything like that, that's where you would need money. Otherwise, it's free.
Yeah.
You can come just visit with us and other channels. I don't know who all's coming yet. I just know Roots and Refuge is coming. We have 5 or 6, 7 other channels I do know for sure is coming, but we'll have a list out later. If you want any information, go to Facebook, Deep South Homestead Gathering Place, and join us, and we'll try to keep everybody posted.
Yeah.
The theme is garden like your life would depend on it, because it does.
Because it will.
And we have T-shirts in the description below that have that saying on them. And if all goes well, we're going to have caps with the saying on it.
Yeah.
And so y'all be looking for that, and anybody that wears that T-shirt to the gathering will be thrown into a special drawing for a special giveaway. So get your T-shirts.
What will we, Z-Man and B-Man says, what will we look for in homesteading property? Not too close to neighbors, large piece of property, at least 1 or 2 water sources that are natural, flat, fertile land, some hills, timber, hardwood predominantly.
For fires.
For firewood, and
some type of wildlife.
Yeah, well, you want, where you have that
wildlife and foraging abilities.
Wildlife and places that you can forage on the property, and far enough and rural enough that you don't have to worry about HOAs and anything like that moving in anywhere close to you, major highways and all the way away from you. Those are a few things I would think about.
The T-shirts are not on Etsy. They're in the description below of our videos is an email. It talks about the T-shirts, and it has an email, and you have to email Sherry. I can't remember the email right offhand, but anyway, it's in the descriptions of our videos. You email her, and because this is a person, this is a individual person making these shirts. This is not a company. So You guys know that we're helping other homesteaders by doing this. And so this t-shirt will help her as well as get you a shirt for the gathering. And the shirt sizes do go big. I see somebody's asking that.
Yeah, they make large shirt sizes too. And Power Matter Paratrooper says south facing slopes. Yes, for fruit trees. You mainly need south facing slopes for all your fruit trees. You want it where when the sun comes up in the morning, the eastern sky, the sun hits the south side of a hillside to take the frost off of any blooms that might be on trees so that you don't lose them to an early frost or something like that. Okay. So, I think we pretty much got it.
Oh, one other thing on the doTERRA. We are doing another oil study, Amanda from Freedom Makers and I. Plus, she's going to be here in Mississippi the end of January, first week of February. If anybody lives within an hour and a half of where we live, and you would like to host a oil class, I'm trying to think of the word, an oil class, and could have at least around 4 to 6 people at your house or a facility that Amanda and I could come to, email me at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com, because we are looking for people in the end of January, 1st of February, and then again the 1st of March, just before or just after the gathering, for her to be able to host some classes. So if you are interested in essential oils and never been able to get into any studies or anything and you want to, let me know. And if you want to host a class, please let me know. The oil study simply entails we do a intake first. We send you the samples to use for 1 week, and then we do a outtake to find out if you had any success with it. That's all it entails. No money, no nothing. We just see how well you do with it and if you like the oils.
Yep. And Amanda, like she said, will be here the end of January, 1st of February. And she's looking for people in an hour radius of us to host oil classes for doTERRA, where she can come and she can explain the oils to you and to your friends. She doesn't want large classes of people. She wants what you say, like
4 to
6, 7 people maybe in a class. She'll be more than happy to come to you and to work with you while she's in the area and bring the oils and explain everything about the doTERRA oils to you.
Yes. So that's one thing we have coming up. I do have an assistant with my oil studies, Daisha. And so if some of you ask to join in the oil studies, Daisha will be contacting you and dealing with you on that and helping you through it, because she's the one that's sending everything out. And y'all will get to meet Daisha. She's going to be...
Daisha will be here. Yes,
she and I are going to do a video together shortly. While Amanda's here, we're going to do some videos. We're going to be doing some live videos. And that will determine on my channel, on Amanda's channel. Daisha's going to be here during that time. And then for the gathering, Daisha's going to be there. So you guys get ready to meet Daisha.
Get ready to meet Daisha.
She's my new oil assistant. She's very, very knowledgeable, very kind.
Yeah.
You will love her.
Y'all will love Daisha.
Y'all know I don't pick people that are snotty. So you got to know we got some good people going on.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we have about covered everything?
Maybe, till Saturday night.
Till Saturday night. Okay. Now, guys, look, we got to jump off of here. We will see you on the next video. We look forward to our interaction with y'all each and every week, because this is not only a love of ours, it is a mission of ours. And we feel like that this is one of our ways of doing the work of our Lord and Savior, and we give Him all the honor and the glory for everything in our lives. And it is our desire to help others through Him. So, guys, thank y'all for joining us today. Thank y'all from Deep South Homestead.
Bye.
Bye-bye. That's all.